I'm going to call to order this meeting of the Parks Board, March 25th, 2025. The time is 6:01. We'll start with roll call.
Let's see. Member Van Aken is absent. Member Collier.
Present.
Member Manson.
Present.
Member Scott.
Present.
Member Keys.
Present.
Member Troutman.
Present.
Member Cooper.
Present.
Member Wilson. And Member Mapes is absent. We do have a quorum.
Let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Director, I'll pass it to you for personal appearances.
Yes, sir. Tonight we have one personal appearance. Mr. Fearborn is here to make a presentation on an upcoming election item. Floor is yours, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the Park Board. Thank you for having me this evening. Thank you, Mr. Mustine, for graciously allowing me onto the personal appearances this evening. Just want to take a minute. Each of you have in front of you 5 of these cards announcing and giving some general information on the upcoming April 8th ballot issue for a 1/4-cent sales tax for public safety in the city of Raymore. I'm singing to a number of the members of the choir up here because I know that there are a number of public safety folks who are on this park board. Just a brief history. As the park board is aware, we have in the past 3 times gone for a general use tax in a lower amount to fund additional services, personnel, in parks, in the police department, and in public works. And specifically, it would have called for 4 new police officers, new park board workers, and new public works workers in each of those areas. Each time that measure did not pass, the last time by a slimmer margin than the 2 times before, but nevertheless, we decided that while there is critical need in each of the areas, we're going to try to knock these things off one at a time. And obviously, one of the first things that we hear in all of our public surveys is a critical element and a priority for our citizens is always going to be public safety. Public safety, schools, and then, as Councilmember Holman always refers to it, the other 8, which is our parks, are our top 3 draws for the city of Raymore. So we shifted from thinking about a use tax to thinking about a public safety sales tax, which is called for within statute, and we can go for that. From an accountability standpoint, one of the advantages of the public safety sales tax is it is revenue in and expenses out of a fund that by statute has to be created just for this public safety sales tax. So from a transparency standpoint, everyone will be able to see this is a fund established just for this is how much they're raising, this is how it's being spent. The hope with the 1/4-cent sales tax that's going to be on the ballot is that the revenue that would be raised, and we've checked this back in 3-year increments going all the way back 15 years, we are very assured of in the beginning with it, because it will grow over time, the amount that is collected with it as Raymore grows, but in the beginning it will be able to fund up 8 additional officers. None of the money is going towards existing police department expenses. So we're not going to supplement anything. Nothing from the police department is going to go over to another department. Those funds exist as they are. Staffing exists as it is. This is for an additional 8 officers. None of this money is going for increases in existing salaries. It's the salaries of the police officers that we would be needing. One of the advantages to this approach, we think, is, as I had said in the beginning of this, the use tax would have funded up 4 police officers. Our last independent study on how many police officers we actually need at this point in time is an additional 20 officers to keep up. So obviously the 8 doesn't get us there, but it gets us a long way. The goal being, let's get the discussion about the police officers swept off the table with this new tax that's going to come on, and then we can address the critical needs that we have separately in public works, transportation, and parks by looking at additional revenue sources for those with this being in the background, and also being able to prove up we're doing what we said we would do with this particular sales tax. Any questions on that? So what we're asking is that, and I know you all get it, like I say, there's a background in public safety here that is equal only to our council, actually. I am not allowed, because I'm a 24/7 employee, a city manager, my resources, I cannot say, and staff cannot say, vote yes on this. We have to be informational only. Believe me, if there was any way that I could stand in front of you and encourage you to vote yes on this, I certainly would, but I can't say that. Informationally, I think I've given you everything that I can to encourage you to get out, hand these out to your neighbors. We're not going to be doing a vote yes campaign. We have not formed a vote yes committee on this. We are hoping that the need for additional police officers is going to sell itself. So far, that has seemed to work. The amount of opposition, social media we're seeing on this is minuscule, almost non-existent. So again, April 8th, handed out 5 cards to each of you. We asked the council last night, we gave them each 15 cards, asked them to approach somebody, give them the card. You all can ask folks to vote for this, unlike staff, encouraging you, begging you to approach at least 5 people with this, talk it up for us. You're respected members of this community, you're respected by staff, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions?
Thanks for hearing me out. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Moving on, consent agenda for approval of the minutes from last meeting on February 25th. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Bill.
I move that we approve the minutes from the February 25th meeting of 2025.
Hearing her first, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Let's go to vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. I have 2. How many are those? 7 yes. Any opposed? None. 7 passes 7-0. We will move to staff report, and I'll pass it over to you, Director.
Thanks, sir. I will have Recreation Superintendent Brennan do a recreation report.
Thank you, sir. Park Chair, members of the board, I have submitted a written report. I have asked Athletic Coordinator Nick Cook to come give a verbal report over athletics. Before I ask him to come up, I did want to give a quick update on the event side, what we've recently completed and what we kind of have coming down the pipeline here soon. When we last met, we were gearing up for our spring craft show. As mentioned before, we had a full attendance with the vendors, and then having the ability to be out there for about a half hour that day. It was very well attended. We have a tracking system called Placer AI that we're able to kind of track the people that come in. According to that, we had around 1,600 people that attended that day. That does cover the entirety of Rec Park, so that's not just the Raymore Activity Center, but considering what we had going on that day, we can assume that most of those people attended the Spring Craft Show. What we have coming up next, and what Cecilia's been hard at work at, is the Easter Festival that will be taking place April 19th out at Recreation Park. That will begin at 10 a.m. Of course, we will have our Easter Bunny present there that people can take pictures with. Rumor has it he recently did have a knee injury, so instead of walking around like in years past, we will have him located at a centralized location, seated for children and parents if they choose to take pictures with the Easter Bunny. I do want to also just want to make mention that Community Bank of Raymore is our title sponsor for that event. And then we do have a number of community partners that are assisting with filling up the eggs for those days. And those partners include Wheelhouse Baseball, Foxwood Springs, Ray-Pec Academy, and Mizuma. And then the last thing I wanted to just mention before I ask Nick to come up and give a report on the athletics. About a year ago, I'll say challenged Nick to get his CYSA. That is the Certified Youth Sports Administrator certification, and that is through the National Alliance of Youth Sports. They are not the overseeing commissioner of all youth sports, but they are someone that provides educational tools for professionals, for coaches, parents, and officials. That is provides good guidelines basically for sports leagues like ours. And with this, he can go to basically the athletic business conference, as well as be giving. I apologize. I am having a hard time speaking. Yes. Basically, it's just a good certification to have for someone within in Nick's profession. And so I just wanted to highlight that and congratulate him on doing so, because he obtained that about a week or two ago, correct? Okay. Now that I am done stumbling along, if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Hesitant to ask. Does anyone have any questions? Comments?
Well, with that, I would ask Athletic Coordinator Nick Cook to come up and give a report on athletics.
Do better, Nick. Do better.
All right, I'll try and do better. Thank you guys for having me tonight. Like Todd said, I just want to provide a little update to the athletics. We are starting our spring sports season. Going to provide some numbers for the amount of kids we've been able to register for the sports, and then highlight some of our new programs that we kind of changed formatting to. With that being said, soccer began last Saturday. We didn't have a ton of teams playing just because it's going into spring break weekend. Also this Saturday, we're coming out of spring break weekend, so a lot of bye weeks there. But we had 372 participants in soccer this season. It's a very solid number. I think our second biggest section for soccer in the spring. Flag football begins this Saturday. We had 261 participants. This is the most amount of flag football players we've had in spring and fall. Volleyball begins this Saturday as well with 203. It is also the most amount of volleyball players we've ever had spring and fall. Volleyball was up about 40 more players than the previous spring, so we're seeing a big growth in that sport in our community. Baseball and softball, our registrations will be closing April 6th, which is 2 Sundays from now. At the moment, we have 339. We're looking to probably get around 400 or so in that sport. Games won't start until May 19th, so we still have a little bit of time before we get that sport rolling. And then some of our other options that we have are sports that we offer for the community social sports. I just wanted to backtrack to basketball season. We had a total of 43 players in our social basketball program. That's the most we've ever had. I know Dan Mapes had his son in that. They got to enjoy that program, as well as social soccer this upcoming spring had 47, which is also the most. We changed the formatting to that to become a 6-week camp-style program, 3 weeks of training, skill, and then 3 weeks of scrimmaging. I think a lot of citizens are really starting to enjoy that format. Tiny basketball, again, we had 54. We opened an additional class to give more 3- and 4-year-olds opportunity to play. That's the most amount of tiny basketball players we've ever had. Tiny soccer, we're up to 89, the most we've ever had. I had to open up a fourth section for that, and it filled within a week and a half or so. And then tiny t-ball, which doesn't start until June. Doesn't start till June. We opened an additional class for that, and that also has filled. We're seeing a lot of 3- and 4-year-olds starting to get active in our sports, and I'll credit it to our great instructors that we've found throughout the past year. And then just a couple of upcoming programs that we are looking to continue. We're going to continue offering tennis camps with the USTA, as well as tiny kickball, and then we're revamping our adult volleyball to be every Monday in the rack. That's starting to grow quite a bit, and frankly, they wanted to not have any breaks, so we're going to run it every Monday for the remainder of the year, starting next Monday. With that, do you guys have any questions? Cool. Thank you.
I'll ask Superintendent Rulo for a Parks report.
Thank you. I submitted a written report. Just wanted to hit on a few key things. I did want to thank the Ray-Pec School District. They had a group of about 30 kids come out last Wednesday. They fought through the weather change of about a 40-degree change from the time they got on the bus to the time they got out here to Hawkridge Park and Recreation Park, and they picked up trash around the lake, around the tree line. Very helpful. It was just one less thing that the park guys had to do that week, so definitely appreciate that. The park crew guys have been, they finished up today. They put a new coat of paint down on the Optimus shelter and painted the fascia boards of both concession stands at soccer and baseball, trying to limp those a few more years. I think we got 2 or 3 years, and then those are supposed to be replaced. So just trying to add a little bit to them. The guys cleaned up the backyard. We had 5 years worth of trees cut, stumps, everything back there. So we rented a dumpster, got them out of there. And the last thing is the city applied, put in an application for the Tree City USA. We were accepted again for our 12th year in a row. So kudos to the guys there. Director Mustine is part of that also, and myself. So with that, I'll take any questions.
I think we don't. Anyone? Questions? Thank you.
So I've also submitted a written report, and I want to highlight just a couple things. Mr. Rulo talked about Ray-Pec coming out and doing some volunteer stuff, and actually Mr. Brennan talked about Wheelhouse Baseball doing stuff. We have a lot of community partners that come in and help us with projects, and we have a lot of volunteers. Cecilia uses volunteers throughout the year for her events. Right now, kind of the hot one is the Easter egg hunt. Stuffing 15 to 18,000 eggs is no small task, so we use a lot of volunteers. Wheelhouse Baseball, as you guys know, we've talked with them a couple of times in work session. One of the things I talked to Chris earlier this past week, and he and I will be sitting down, getting together, working out some community projects that they can do in the park system. This particular one that Todd mentioned was one of them, which is Easter eggs. And those are in lieu of rental fees and things that we had talked about. So Wheelhouse is aware of those things, and we'll be utilizing them. We also have a partnership with Rockbrook Church. They come out every year and pick up trash along Johnston Lake. And she emailed us this week requesting the trash bags and the equipment and a date in April that they'll be doing that as well. So we're just very thankful for the way the community comes in and helps us. I mean, there's no way we could keep up with all of those things. So one of the things I want to talk about, Steve mentioned the Tree City USA. I know that sounds like we talk about that a lot, but it's like a 3 or 4 part process throughout the year. So the first step is the Arbor Day event. We fluctuate that throughout the year based on the best time to plant trees, when we can get the ones we want. Activities are based around that. So we've done trees at the opening at the playground. We've done, last year we waited till the fall and we did, was it here? Or I was at TB Hanna. We replaced a tree that we knew it needed to come out. So we don't necessarily focus Arbor Day around the Earth Day or Arbor Day in the spring, which a lot of companies and municipalities do. We try to be flexible on when and where we can do that, and there's no rule against that. So that's one thing we do. The second that you hear us talk about usually is in December. Steve will talk about, we submitted the application. That's the big part where it takes us about a month to get everything ready and submitted. What he's talking about here is they've actually reviewed it, and now they've basically approved all of the stuff we've done. So I don't want it to sound like we're redundant all the time, because there's steps to making sure that this happens. It's a big deal to have that, classification as a Tree City USA, and so pretty excited that we're 12 years in on that one. Want to thank Nick. Last night at the city council meeting during my report, I made sure to note the success of our athletic programs. Specifically, it's important to us, not just from measuring where we stand in terms of our sister cities in the South Metro, but it's important to us to know that we're leading the charge and leaders of the youth athletics in the South Metro. And so what I told the council last night is we continue to not only carry the most number of registrations, but we have the most number of teams. We host the most number of games. We host the most tournaments throughout all the cities. I mean, we literally lead the South Metro athletics in everything that facet that there is to do, and we're pretty proud of that. And that's a tradition that's Todd started and Nick's carrying forward. So it's something to be very proud of in terms of what we're doing athletically. One more thing, and then the rest will be CIP updates that we can take care of in work sessions. So I did want to make note that last month we approved and recommended the comp plan for our Parks and Rec Master Plan, which is Chapter 5. That is going through the process with P&Z, and then we'll go on to the City Council for final adoption. Should be in May when that's officially adopted. For the Park Board, we've actually adopted ours, so we're good in terms of that. But I did want to make note, Councilmember Holman, it was 2 meetings ago, this is the first time we've met since then. He wanted to make note and highlight how much he appreciated and liked our concept plan for the Good Ranch Park that's coming up. He felt like that it's pretty exciting. He likes the plans that we're doing, how we've blended things that we've had and things that the rest of the county and the area doesn't have, and just really excited and pleased with the work that the Park Board and the staff are doing. So I just wanted to pass that on. And happy to answer any questions. That concludes my staff report. I lost the content.
I don't think we have any questions. Doesn't look like we have any unfinished business from last week, so Move on to new business with some of the bills coming forward, Director.
Thank you. We are going to go through a few new business items. These are contracts that have been bid out competitively, so we'll just start with item A, and this is the award of contract for our grounds, maintenance grounds, the fertilization program. What I want to make sure that the park board knows is this is a combination of park facilities and buildings and grounds. So this is a two-part contract, which is why the park board approves this. It goes to final approval by the buildings and grounds through the city council. This includes the yard and the grounds here on Municipal Circle. It includes Centerview, the rack, and we also included as an alternate bid TB Hanna Station, which is in desperate need of a little love and care on the grass portion of it. It really never was established very good at the end of the project at TB Hanna, and we've done about the best we can with what our funding allows us to, but it really needs to be on a stabilized program and some additional help. So we bid that out to see what that would cost us, and the other thing that we added are the trees, the ash trees around Municipal Circle. We began treating them, I guess we've done 3 treatments, so it was about 6 years ago, treating them for the emerald ash borer, which is pretty much a death sentence for any ash trees. These were well into 20 years. We did not want to lose them around the circle, and so we made the decision that once you start treating them, you have to continue that. If you stop, they will, those borers will get in and you'll lose them. So by choosing to keep them, we chose to every other year, we have to treat them. This is a buildings and grounds issue, not necessarily a parks, even though Steve and I pretty much take care of that. That's all been done on different contracts. What we did was we bid all that into one contract. So we have one contract a year. So everything is on there. It's all in your packet. So we bid this out. We did receive one bid through Big Green Turf Management, the local company here in Raymore. You guys are well aware of their partnership with us. In terms of why they're the only ones that bid, the main thing that we know why True Green didn't bid was two-part. They had to include the trees, and then they were late. They had their bid ready, and they just didn't get it turned in on time, and so that disqualified them. And we don't rebid when you have one qualified bidder. So knowing the relationship with True Green, they've met all our vetting requirements. So we're here to recommend that. Oh, one more bit on that. True Green is the one that have been treating the ash trees for the past 6 years. That's never been on a contract, so we wanted to put that out there. So they will continue doing those treatments, and now the fertilization portion, they'll just add that to what they're doing for us as partnership down at Rec Park for our athletic field. So it's a good fit. It's a good contract. We recommend award of contract for that. I put it in your packet, the actual contract, the bidding, and the pricing. But like I said, that is a split between buildings and grounds and our own budget. So we are happy to answer any questions, and that concludes our staff report.
Any questions for the director? I'd ask for a motion.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Bill.
I make a motion we award contract to Big Green Turf Management LLC for the fertilization program at city and facilities to include TB Hanna Station.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, hearing a first and second, do I have any discussion? Let's move to vote. All those in favor? Passes 7-0. Next, it looks like we have the award of contract for Parks and Recreation uniforms.
Yes, sir. I will ask Mr. Brennan to submit a report for this item.
Thank you, sir. Members of the board, back in January, we requested proposals for uniform services. This includes uniforms with our sports leagues, rec programs, special events, as well as our staff uniforms. From that, we received 3 local bids that met specifications, and of those 3, Little Sports Shop and Apparel presented the lowest bid of the 3. From that, how we determined that was we took some of our most popular items, such as baseball uniforms, soccer uniforms, summer camp shirts, and we included them in what we call a shopping cart. It was our 10 most popular items, and from that, Little Sports Shop and Apparel presented the lowest bid. So with that, we are recommending moving forward into agreement with Little Sports Shop and Apparel. With that, that concludes my report, and would be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Bill.
I recommend we award a contract, or motion to award a contract for 1 year with the option to renew for 2 additional 1-year terms to Little Sports Shop of Lee Summit.
Hearing a first, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Hearing a first and second, do we have any discussion? Nope. All right, let's move to vote. All those in favor of awarding? Passes 7-0. 2 absent. Next, it looks like we have award of contract for design at Hawk Ridge Plaza in the Parkside Dog Park.
All right, thanks, sir. Tonight, we recommend award of contract for the design for both Hawk Ridge Park Plaza and the dog park to Cook, Flatt, and Strobel, CFS Engineers. We did review this in work session. At the last meeting, we had 2 proposals, and so the park board is aware of this particular item. This was a request for qualifications, so we reviewed the proposals and we picked the best fit for the project. What you have before you now is the actual cost of what that proposal would be. I've submitted in the agenda item, both the budget and the contract for the design work in each individual project. So Hawk Ridge Park, there is currently a budget of $530,000 in our park sales tax specifically for this project. There is other funding, but this is the one that is directly underneath the park funds. And then we have that particular design project, CFS Engineers came in at $97,480. That is to design the building, all the construction documents, the blueprints. That includes also the architect firm SFS as their sub, includes the concrete pad, the electrical work, the HVAC work, it's a turnkey project, ready to bid that project out. Secondly is the dog park. We have $350,000 in our budget for the dog park. The design includes surveying the property, cost estimates, concrete work, parking lot, basic fencing, things like that. It's all the design to create the dog park that we've been looking at from that concept plan. Their budget and cost for that was $40,450. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions. This will also go to the city council for final approval, and once that is done, we'll initiate work with CFS on both of those projects coming up in the next year, hopefully to bid out by this fall and start construction next year. Maybe late this year, depending on how fast the design goes. But happy to answer any questions, and that concludes our staff report.
Any questions for the director? Take a vote on it? Or, I'm sorry, is there any discussion on it? All right. Could I get a motion for approval on this?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Making a motion to award the contract for design services for Hawk Ridge Park Plaza and the Parkside Dog Park to Cook, Flat, and Strobel Engineering.
Hearing a first, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Having a first and second, now do we have any discussion over it? No? All right. All those in favor? Passes 7-0, 2 absent. I don't believe we have any public comment tonight. So I'll go ahead and start with board member comment. Board member Mike, do you have anything you'd like to say tonight?
Just that these are important issues that we have with the police sales tax that the city manager mentioned, and I would encourage the folks, the reason we have, in my opinion, the reason that we have a low crime rate now is because we do have a solid police department maintaining our community. But as our community grows and the number of residents increase, it becomes even more difficult to maintain the high standard that we have right now. And I'd hope that everyone would come out and support the tax issue.
Thank you. Ken?
Just like to say congrats to Nick for his accomplishment, his certification. That's really cool. And to Todd and Nick for crazy booming youth sports programs. That's awesome. You guys are doing a really nice job. I was going to say something I shouldn't, but just great job, guys. Really, the whole park department's awesome. Anyway, so just wanted to make sure that got on the record.
Steve?
I'll echo what Ken said. I will add in, though, Steve's group, because it helps to have good fields, good play-in areas, good practice fields to get people to come in and see the whole package. So thanks to you guys, but also Steve's group as well.
Chris?
I have no comment.
Bill?
Yes, I want to thank Todd and Nick for a good presentation, and Todd adding a little humor. One thing about it, on this quarter cent for public safety, a lot of times law enforcement in particular is neglected until it's too late, and it's hard to rectify a trend that's spiraling downward. So we like to stay on top of that, and this is one of those occasions where we can. And considering how hard it is to recruit anymore because of the popularity or lack of popularity for law enforcement, I think we need to address that. And you can't wait until you need them and you don't have them.
Josh?
Good job on your presentation, guys. I'm worried about the Easter Bunny, so get some reinforcements for him. And then the quarter cent public safety tax, it's been well said already. I think it's an important item. Everybody knows this community is changing rapidly, and we got to keep our public safety top notch. There was one important item that Mr. Fearborn did mention. If this were to pass, from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, if this were to pass, all the additional revenue goes on top of the police budget. So there's other cities, I'm not going to name them, they tend to rearrange the budget after it passes, and they rob Peter to pay Paul. So that's one thing I appreciate about Mr. Fearborn and the leadership, is that's not the plan for this. It's going to go to 8 additional officers who we need on the streets. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I'd just like to echo everything everyone said. Congrats to you, Nick, Todd. Steve's always taking good care. I know the storms last week didn't really do much to us, but I'm sure you were out there having fun picking up stuff anyway. With that, it looks like we're ready for adjournment. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I move we adjourn this meeting.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? We are adjourned.